Welcome back. Packers Derailed is brought to you by Redacted Energy and the Foundation for Underwhelming Canadians. I'm your host and executive producer, JJ Lahey, here with my esteemed co-host, Jake the Draft Robot Schyvinck. We're broadcasting this week live from the Mark Murphy Minute News Update. This week in Packers news, Justin Timberlake was arrested a few years ago in the state of Michigan under suspicion of a DUI. Jake, we turn over to you to begin our Packers coverage. We're going to talk about the edge rusher situation. Probably going to get into some mock drafts. The chat is already popping. You'd love to see it. I just want to say, go Pack Go.
Indeed. Go Pack Go indeed. Yeah, good to be back. Unfortunate that we missed Friday, but it's good to be kind of just back on the schedule here and a mock draft Monday of sorts that we will probably be tapping into. Drew is ready for the mock draft lab, it would seem. So as am I. And 1 month from today, the Packers will not be picking anyone. Probably.
Not so much.
Probably not. But a month from tomorrow, they will be picking some guys, I think. So that's exciting.
I feel like it depends on how you define a month, though, because this is a Monday night, and the draft doesn't begin on a Monday. So if you're going by X day of the month, at this point, once you get to the third Monday of April, that could impact the draft significantly versus April 23rd.
Yes. Sure. But yeah, I don't know what the day, I don't know what the number is, like 30, 32, 31, something like that.
Today's the 23rd.
Yeah, so 31 days then until the day. So that's exciting. Yes, Tyler Dershel, how about them Hawkeyes? Yes, the women did lose to a 10 seed today. Not sure why you're very excited about that. Doesn't make any sense to me. That's all we'll hear about that. Elsewhere in the comments,
Bungie Cheddarbug is back. We have a Mike Barry in the chat. Says he's out walking the dog now. Jake, do we know Mike Barry by a different username on a different platform? Because I don't think there's been like a Mike Barry in the YouTube chat recently. That name didn't ring a bell to me. Do we know Mike Barry somewhere else by a different social media handle?
I don't know if I know him by a different handle. I've seen a Mike Barry before.
I'm excited to get to know Mike Barry. Mike Barry, if I know you on a different social media platform by a different handle, please let us know. Wait, Jake, I have to ask. This whole Mike Barry business, is it Wicks?
It is not Wicks. Speaking of Wicks, okay, did you see one of the Packers writers, Bill Huber, put together a way too early 53-man roster prediction, and Wicks was not on it.
That's interesting, given how few wide receivers we have at the moment.
Well, I believe that would, to me, signal that Green Bay is going to draft one, which I did happen to do in my handy-dandy mock draft Monday that I already posted to Twitter today. I did have them go.
I also did a mock draft Monday. Maybe we should do a dueling mock draft Monday. How about that?
Let's take a look at our mock draft Mondays, shall we?
Why don't you share yours and I'll share mine?
Yeah, I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
I will show you mine. And mine is a double trouble. It's a double header.
Did you use the consensus board?
So I used the consensus board, and pin in that, we got a message from a listener today about the various boards, and so we'll have to get into that.
Yes.
So here we go for the audio only crowd. Jake took his dude Malachi Lawrence, the edge rusher out of UCF, at 52. Then pretty high went with wide receiver Ted Hurst out of Georgia State in the 3rd round. Tackle guard Trey Zune III out of Texas A&M was his 4th round pick. Trey Zune may make some other appearances tonight. I will say, the mock drafts that I did today, there's only one in which I passed up on Trey Zune, and it's one of the ones I'm going to show you, and it was because I had, well, we'll get into that. I'll show you why I didn't take Trey Zune. Jake's 5th rounder was cornerback Devon Marshall, North Carolina State. Listen, the chat is going to be mad, really mad that you waited till round 5 to address cornerback. So just warning you, you got that coming to you.
I just want to let everyone know, I do not care.
We do not care. Albert Regis, defensive tackle out of Texas A&M in the 6th. And then double trouble 7th rounders. Tackle Keegan Trost, Mizzou. I'm not at all familiar with Keegan Trost. I have definitely never drafted him. I don't think I've ever even looked at him. I don't know anything about this dude. So this will be fun to get into in a minute. But first, his final pick at 255 was running back Terrion Stewart out of Virginia Tech. Tell us about Keegan Trost, please.
I will. I'm going to pull my notes in the Google Doc.
Googling Keegan Trost draft.
No, I gotta find him in my giant Google Doc that is now 77 pages long. I'm not gonna go looking for him on the scroller. Okay. So the only thing that would slightly concern me about Trost is that I don't know if he's the best gap blocker. I don't know if he's going to be as versatile as some of these other guys, but I was just too big a fan of some of the footwork, movement, skill stuff, and the ability for him to keep guys off of his frame. When you talk about, reach blocks, or he's pulling, or we're comboing to second level guys, like he gets to those landmarks pretty easily. It's just more of, is he a guy who's going to move people around vertically in the run game? That's really my biggest question mark, because I think most likely what you would see is, again, we're drafting 2 tackles here that I don't necessarily think will play it tackle.
Yeah, so I did notice that, which is
that's kind of that's the move.
That's
people.
The Green Bay compromise.
That's the move. Yeah, that's what they do. They want the guys who have at least played it, and they'll figure out the rest later. So Terrion Stewart, I'm going to be big on throughout the rest of the process. Period. Just really, really like his game. If they go Terrion Stewart or Robert Henry Jr. from UTSA on day 3, I'm going to be very, very pleased if we can get either one of those guys in the running back room. Because I think it's kind of time, people. I wish him all the best. But I think it's time. We got to get somebody else to be the changeup to Josh Jacobs, or the fastball to Josh Jacobs changeup. However you want to describe it. I think you got to get somebody else in that room. But boy, if I'm going to swing at receiver who's big and fast, and that's Ted Hurst is the way I'm swinging. I know there's a favorite from others of the North Dakota State track. Who I didn't like what I saw. I'll be honest. I really did like it. I think that Brian Boffey was spot on. That cat's got some work to do. That guy needs to go to the minor leagues first.
So he's basically what I was worried that Christian Watson might end up being. That's what you're saying.
That I think that's correct. Yes.
So
not unlike his brother. Not unlike his brother.
Well, we don't need to give it that one. Except to thank the NFL for reimbursing the 49ers all those picks that they blew. But Too Old for This sent us a $10 dono, and I think based on the note that he included with it, I think I have to say that he sent me a $10 dono. The note is for you. Just do a mock that makes Jake happy. So I think I'm going to pocket the $10, and we're gonna do the Jake mock draft.
All right.
I'm kidding, obviously, but thank you to Old for this for getting the donos rolling.
Honestly, the dono's nice. I just want to do the mock draft. JJ, honestly, you can't keep that.
The mock draft is nice. But
You
I
can
just want
keep the 10. You want the 10. I want the mock draft. It's a perfect compromise.
You know, I might just
Perfect
put the 10
compromise.
toward some of the podcast expenses that
There you go.
have been incurring that are starting to wear on my pocketbook.
I think that's the move.
So, housekeeping. We have 3 things to do. Okay, we have to do tool for this mock draft that makes Jake happy. We have to look at my Monday morning mock draft, and
Yes,
we have to talk about edge rusher. And I think we should talk about edge rusher before we mock draft because
Yeah, that's fine.
it's a pretty darn good foundation for heading into our draft strategy. So I think first what we'll do,
Taking
first
all
we'll
edge
do-
rushers.
I'm gonna.
So
I just realized I started clicking around on Twitter in the tab that I was trying to share that had my mock draft. Here we go. Fixed it like a pro. Yeah.
pull up the mock drafts.
All right. So I did a doubleheader. So first of all, I did 0 trades in this one. PFF took out our pick that we're not supposed to have anymore in the 7th round.
Thank goodness.
And
About time.
I gotta tell you, it makes a difference. It makes a difference when you genuinely do only have 7 picks and none of them are in the first round.
It's facts.
I felt better having that extra 7th rounder. I can't believe it, but I really did. So I'm
Makes
just
a
showing you.
difference.
Here's what I came away with no trades. I did take 1 corner, 1 defensive tackle, and 1 linebacker. So I took Keith Abney, cornerback, Arizona State, in round 2. I went Rashan Benny, defensive tackle, State of Michigan player, in the 3rd round. Round 4 was Trey Zune. Oh my. Trey Zune making another appearance. It's crazy. It's almost like he's going to be a Packer or something.
Probably.
Linebacker, Caleb Elarmzor, TCU in the
Just
5th round.
seems too obvious.
Tight end, Oscar Delp, Georgia in the 6th round. Guard, Micah Morris, Georgia in the 7th round. And then we finished up with our guy, Cole Payton, the quarterback out of North Dakota State. I think that the players I selected are pretty good. I think this is a fantastic draft. And yet, I traded down in my 2nd mock draft, and that made all the difference.
So,
Look at these picks.
what pick did you get Oscar Delp at?
In the previous one, that was I got him in the 6th round, which I'd be shocked if he actually went that way.
I would like to show the people something really fast. Okay.
We're here for the people.
All right. Really quick. Nope. It's been fun, people. It's been fun. It's been fun, guys.
And he can block, fellas.
It's been fun. The 6th round stuff for Delp, that's over. So
Newt Weston wants to know if we're really that high on
Just
Rashawn
let me
Benny
know.
to take him in the 3rd round. It is kind of crazy to me that he's going as high as he is now, since we were used to taking him in like the 6th and 7th round for a long time. But I think
Yeah,
this is more like where he
94th.
belongs.
94th seems again. As somebody who's
84th.
just not
It's 84th.
well, yeah, 84th overall. I guess 94th on the. You used the consensus, right? That's what it was for this. You said right.
I used
PFF
yes.
or consent, whatever it was. Yeah,
I used the PFF board.
I think
this
I'm pretty low on the defensive tackle class as a whole. I don't like. I think once you get past, I guess it just depends on whether you like Lee Hunter or Christian Miller less. I think once you get past those guys, unless you really, really like McClellan, I think it's pretty much one-trick ponies across the board. So I think you're
I'm not going to
drafting-
stand for this Grayson Halton slander. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Why?
It's disrespectful. It's
Why?
disrespectful.
He's a really, really good pass rushing defensive tackle. He's extremely good pass rushing defensive tackle. There's no question
It's not
about
like
that.
He can't defend the run. It's not that he can't defend the run.
Yeah, but he's defending the run he's going to defend the run as a 3-tech. Hopefully getting 1v1 looks. So he's not going to be the space eater. So if you're going to draft the space eater, right, you're not going to draft the pass rusher. If you're going to draft the pass rusher, you're going to be light along the line.
Sure. So the point you're making is that Rashawn is kind of the last of those big interior space eaters. there's just not a lot of other guys.
I don't think he's the last one. I just think it's kind of pretty much at this point you're drafting most of these guys to do one thing. I don't know if you're going to find the like extremely impactful 3-down defenders. Not that Benny can't be at least a little impactful on all 3 downs, but I don't think like your difference making 3-down guys. I just don't think it's deep enough to find players like that later. And again, it's Halton's good. I think he's just, to me, a little bit out of control per se for somebody who I think, but again, we know there was another guy like that who was a little bit out of control that Green Bay took at 28 in the 2022 NFL draft, and Devontae Wyatt. So the out of control disruption is good stuff. You want that stuff. However, this scheme loves to commit as many bodies as possible to the coverage structure. So I do think they're going to need, and again, maybe they think Hargrave's going to do it, but I imagine they think, okay, let's find the run defender, which I think Benny is. I think Benny is really good at that. So I don't mind it there. I think with mine, it was just kind of like I looked, and I will say for mine, the other note for mine, JJ, it's good that El Armzor went 1 pick before me in the 5th, because I was going to pick him there, and there wasn't going to be a quarter until who knows when. So maybe the people lucked out for that one. I just don't. Yeah, I think it's hard for me to pick a corner if I don't get one at 52. Because there's a lot of guys that I'm kind of meh on for the most part. So, but yes,
I feel like I'm becoming more and more familiar with like the depth in the cornerback class, and I like the depth less and less the more I learn about them.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough if none of the guys we want are there at 52. It's gonna be tough. Okay,
so in my second draft, the Raiders really wanted to move up from 67 to 52, so I kind of got a haul. I got a third,
you got a haul 10, nice.
6. And the first Halton that I hauled in my haul was Grayson out of Oklahoma.
Like that.
So I did take 2 corners in the first 2 rounds that I had available, round 3 and round 4. I got Devin Moore and Charles Demings, and I had to make a decision, by the way, between Demings and Marshall. I could have had Devin Moore and Devin Marshall at the same time. But I'm getting higher and higher on Charles Demings as time goes on. So I felt like this
he's gonna be the
mock
guy there.
Draft. Say what, Demings? Yeah.
I think he's going to be the guy at 120, or they move up a few spots like they did with Evan Williams. That feels very, very likely at this point in the process.
I would like that. That would make me very happy. I did get Wisconsin boy Mason Reiger in the 4th round, which is a lot earlier than we are used to seeing him. But again, they're just catching up to what everybody's been doing. It seems like they're just taking a long time to update these big boards.
Yeah,
I did go ahead and swing on Katron Allen in the 5th round. He again went after Nick Singleton, which is nutty to me. And then in the 6th round, I also had an opportunity to choose between Pat Coogan and Matt Golden, and was wrestling with it. I almost went Golden, but obviously Pat Coogan has something that Matt Golden absolutely doesn't have, and that is he's been battle tested against NFL talent. And performed quite well. The interior of that Indiana offensive line absolutely took it to both Miami and Ohio State. So just kind of seeing them tested, even though I really like Matt Golden, that was definitely a deciding factor for me with that head-to-head between the 2 guys. I was really nervous, even with all these picks, I was really nervous waiting until round 6 for linebacker. And there were a couple of pretty good players who had fallen to the 6th round that I had to pass up because this was the only linebacker left that I felt like taking, Red Murdoch out of Buffalo. Overall, I felt like, especially with how I view this draft class as being particularly deep and not particularly top heavy, my doubleheader mock draft I did today pushed me way further in the column of we need to trade down than I've ever been. I mean, I'm really not sure who beside Chris Johnson would persuade me to want to stand and pick at 52 if we can get anything more than a 5th round pick out of it. I'm saying I wouldn't trade down for a 5th, but give me 1/4, a late 4th. I'll do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
As long as the maths, I just want more picks. I really like rounds 3 through 5 this year.
Yeah, I think the Coogan Golban discussion is interesting. Both have played guard as well. So they've obviously most recently only played center, right? This past season. Golban's had, nearly 700 snaps at left guard in 24 and then nearly 600 at right guard in 23. Also played some right tackle. And then Coogan did play, I believe in 23, he played left guard for Notre Dame exclusively. So there is some of that going around with some of these interior guys at the end. They're into day 3. So definitely something to watch. Obviously, we know that this team takes tackles pretty much exclusively. So we'll see. Or centers. And so,
hey, maybe a center guard experienced guy meets the criteria for them. Basically, what they don't want is they don't want a guard playing guard. That just makes their skin crawl.
Yeah. True guard.
Guard playing guard?
Get that out of here.
Yeah. So, do you think they would rather have a guard who played guard or a guard who played tight end? What would they rather have playing guard?
Guard who played tight end, pretty good mover, potentially. I think they'd like that. I think they'd like it a lot. So it would not shock me in the slightest if they did.
It's hard to say with a straight face that they would rather have a guard who played guard based on their
correct.
Based on their track record.
Completely agree.
Tool for the said they'd rather have a tackle playing tight end. That is absolutely true. That's absolutely true. Speaking of which, I mean,
I've seen
Oscar Delp, man.
Yeah. Well,
speaking of
tackle playing tight end, that's Darnell Washington's music, my friend. That's Darnell Washington's music.
I loved Darnell Washington. I really did.
Gosh.
Tool for this had a question about Oscar Delp. Is he what we think Luke Musgrave is? I don't know how you get Luke Musgrave and Oscar Delp in the same sentence, other than if you're just listing people who the Green Bay Packers would call a tight end.
Also, who's we and what do we think Luke Musgrave is? That is the question. Right?
We is the collective.
What do we think he is?
We think he's a draft
I think
bust.
he's I just think he's a receiving player. Receiving only, which does not describe the tight end position well enough for me to enjoy them.
Luke Musgrave is the missing 8 inches that I cut off of my beard this week. That's what Luke Musgrave is. So if you want that on your football team, I can go dig it out of the trash can for you. Just saying.
Yeah, I think Delp is extremely, extremely close to the type of player that Kraft is. I just don't think he lands the strikes as cleanly as Kraft did. And Kraft really didn't do that necessarily in his first season either. So, but I do think Delp, the short area acceleration on a linear path is really, really good. And that shows up when he runs, a 4.49. Like that's not an accident. That 10-yard split being 88th percentile for tight ends that's real stuff. That him accelerating within that first, 10, 12, kind of yards, I think is really impressive when he gets those short targets. And that's exactly the type of player that they've been, that's exactly how they've been deploying Kraft. Kraft is like, hey, we're going to tie these linebackers down because they know how much of a threat you are. And you can just go run them over, make guys miss, win with balance after the catch. Like that's the player I want for this offense. I want 2 guys who can block and have some linear juice. That's what I want. And that's why we're in on Delp as that guy. We got to take him in the 3rd. Fine. Don't care. Don't care. Would do it. So
I would kill to pair Tucker Kraft with a second competent tight end.
Yes.
That would be nice.
100%. 100%.
So let's talk about edge.
Yes.
With the Packers moving on from Rashan Gary and Kingsley.
Should we do this really quick? I know this was a start
no,
question,
actually, I didn't want to because Adam had a different question. Oh shoot, where'd it go? I thought Adam was the one who had a question about the edge.
Oh. No.
Oh man,
Did he?
Did we both star it and it disappeared?
No, I never
Right,
started this
you
one.
do that question while I'm looking for the comment I wanted to pin. Oh yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Okay. I didn't see that, actually.
Wait, no. It was Drew right before that. That's why. Okay. Drew said, isn't saying edge is a big need, ignoring that we drafted Sorrell and Oliver to be pass rushers. And this is the entire question. This is the entire conversation is what do we have in Barryn Sorrell? And Colin Oliver, who again, we haven't seen much of Oliver, and just like body type, where does he really fit? So the first question I want to pose to you, Jake, if the Packers are going to be playing more 3-4, do you like Colin Oliver more in Gannon's scheme than the scheme he was actually drafted to a year ago?
Yeah, I think so. I think other than him kind of being almost the Sam linebacker in base in that 4-3, I think suits him perfectly fine. But yes, I think if they're going to be in a lot of situations where they have 5 down linemen, the down lineman argument's super funny. Whatever. When they're running kind of the 5-2 stuff, I think that he is going to be valuable there. I think Sorrell becomes even more valuable there as well. So yeah, and I think when they get into third and longs, like they're going to be able to let him chase. And so that to me is totally fine. I think it's when we're talking about edge being a big need, to me it's not, who's the backup to Parsons? It's who's the backup for LVN. Big, heavy-handed, edge setter, right? Isn't going to give ground in the run game or try to go around guys, right? He's going to make guys go through him and put him on the ground. So finding a guy who can kind of live in both worlds, but maybe leans more towards leans more towards Van Ness's world is a player I want to find. And so I know that's maybe thinking like, oh no, that's how they feel about Van Ness. Maybe, but also, again, having cheap talent that can rush the passer and defend the run on the edge is a big deal. So I don't know. I think that I don't think we can just rule it out simply because, again, I think when I go through like the first 51 picks, like manually, I get to a point where I'm like, man, I don't know where to go. Like TT corner, are they going to just take one to take one? That's not what they do. Where we've seen this happen before of like they will take edge rusher when they've got guys in the room, right? So when they took Gary, it was kind of like, oh, do they like, are they telling us something about one of the Smith brothers? No, they just want a third guy who they feel really comfortable with. They drafted Van Ness. Oh no, do they not like the guys currently in the room? No, it's that they want more bodies there. So, and don't forget that when Gannon's stuff was working in Philly, they had a massive rotation. And so
which is why I'm so concerned about the depth in that room.
Right. And so like if they went edge D tackle with their first 2 picks, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility at all. Based on how if Gannon really wants that level of rotation, which I don't know why he wouldn't, considering, right? If it's going to be, hey, you don't got a lot of help, right? We're putting all these bodies to coverage. You're going to be gassed. You want guys to be rotating in and out. Maybe they're going to put Brooks at defensive end. Maybe he's thinking about that, JJ. And maybe that's something where, then we maybe aren't having this conversation as much because that's where they're moving him. But now we're having a bigger conversation about defensive tackle, which we've already had a bunch. And hopefully, this Gannon's apparently maybe in the ear of Goody, like, hey, buddy, this room is just, we can't do this. We gotta add bodies to the room. So either way, I think if they go edge early, to me that signals that Brooks probably sticks where he is. But if they don't address edge, I think that tells you Brooks might be moving, which I think JJ would be very, very excited about him doing. So that's what I think the difference is with the edge rusher room. Because again, we talked about this, and I know it's in the 4-3, and so it'll be slightly different with maybe some of the alignments will be slightly different, right, when we get down to playing football here. But to me, you can't be light at both edge rusher spots on the field at any point. It's easier, of course, in 3rd and long.
And Carl Brooks certainly is anything but light.
Right. But even in 3rd and long, we've seen some longer conversions with teams who have kept some heavier personnel on the field. Seattle converted 3rd and 15 plus 4 times down the stretch and into the postseason. If you have heavy personnel on the field, love Parsons, excited about Sorrell, who's a little bit bigger, and Oliver, but man, Sorrell's the biggest one of those guys at 256. Like, they're just not super big. And like, okay, if Van Ness is the dude, that's great. But when Van Ness goes down, it's light. It's light on the edge. So that's why I think you're looking at these guys who are 255 and above, I think, in this class. And I know our buddy, who was it this morning, asked about Keldrick Falk. Our buddy Ben asked about Keldrick Falk. If he slides, does Green Bay get in the mix, right? If he gets out of the first round, does Green Bay get in the mix in the late 30s, 40s? He's not 21 years old yet. He's played in the SEC. Big dude. Yes, probably would get involved there because that's the type of player to be behind Van Ness. So they're looking for that player. And yes, maybe Lawrence isn't the biggest of those guys, but as I said, he threads the needle between those two positions really nicely, a la Kingsley and Igbare. But I think Lawrence has more juice rushing the passer. And so that's where you get into the Zion Youngs of the conversation, right, from Missouri, who defends the run really well, but he's really only got the bull rush. But guess what? That's what Gary and Van Ness both had, was the bull rush. So they're like, can we work off of that, right? So a lot of these guys, and I think Kieran Crawford is still somebody who should be in the mix, right? Thinking about him on day 2. He should be somebody we're all talking a little bit more about in terms of what he can bring to the Packers. So there are these types of players. Gabe Akis might be in that conversation too. We'll see, right? He's still a bit bigger as well. He's not on the small side. So I think those are the types that edge rusher I'd be looking at. And again, if they want to on day 3, right, if they're going to swing on the smaller guy like the Rigers, right, who we like drafting, like the O'Neills, some of those guys, the Keyshawn James newbies, that's great. That then tells me that they might be considering moving Brooks to further away from the ball. So I just think the 2 big points are they need a bigger guy to kind of be that backup Van Ness and thread the needle, and then 2, Gannon loves the rotation. And that's why I think it is something that we've, I think, talked about more the last several weeks now, that this could be a direction. Because, again, I think, as I kind of mentioned earlier, D tackle is a little bit shallower than we would like it to be in this class, unfortunately. And so that leaves us, in precarious spots of like, hey, this is Albert Regis is cool, Tim Keenan's cool, right? Those are fun names, but like they're nose tackles. And it's like, oh, I like Landon Robinson and Halton. Those are 3-tech pass rushers. And so you're not going to get the like, oh, Christian Miller, who can probably move everywhere on this front, or Lee Hunter, who can probably move everywhere on this front, or Peter Woods, who can probably move everywhere along the front. Probably not going to get one of those guys. And so
would you put Big Citrus in that category?
I would put him as he's a nose tackle. I think he is. That's where he's going to play. I think I think there are just times when he's rushing the passer where he is like trying to lean his arms out to try and strike guys. And so that's kind of stunting his momentum off the snap. And so if they align him to kind of be a penetrator over a gap rather than a man, maybe. But I do think the majority of his role is going to be nose tackle. So I would lean him towards the top of that second or third tier, depending on how you tier kind of those first 5 players.
So my conclusion would be they may have an edge problem. They may have a tackle problem. They certainly have a body count problem along the defensive line. You need either another significant contributor on the interior, or else you have to stack up some depth on the outside. Right now, it's just too thin. Not just numbers, but body types. Particularly in terms of just having enough of the big guys. So, and again, Javon Hargrave provides a really nice floor that the tackle room did not previously have. It took us from DEFCON 1 down to DEFCON 4. Hopefully I got my order of DEFCONs correct. I can never remember.
DEFCON 1 is the worst. Yes.
Yeah, so it took us from 1 to DEFCON probably 3. And you could probably
2.5,
live
2.5 maybe. 2.5
you probably could live with. You know what? We may have to get an expert online to tell us what the official United States policy is on partial DEFCONs. DEFCON and a half, you know?
Yeah, there you go.
Daryl Asian out of left field says Jordan Riley should be released. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is a defensive tackle room right now.
We cannot release anyone.
No.
We can't release anyone at this juncture.
Maybe you could release James Esther. How about this guy, Jayden Crumity? I don't know him. You could release him.
Sure.
I think
doesn't even have a number.
For whatever you disliked about Jordan Riley, he's probably the fourth best defensive tackle in this room right now. Like, you can upgrade over him, but let's do the upgrade first and then start cutting.
Yeah.
We don't have to trim the roster just yet.
Facts.
I thought that for the little bit that Riley was here, I really didn't mind what I saw of him as a emergency relief pitch hitter. Did he spend any time at all in Philly? I know he was with the Giants. Where did he play? He played at because he went to school at North Carolina and Oregon. And he played with the Giants. Was he ever in Philly?
Not that I'm seeing. No, 7th round in the draft by the Giants in 2023. Appeared in 8 games as a rookie. Waived in 25. Picked up by Green Bay in December. So, yeah. Just the Giants and the Packers.
It's pretty crazy. He's already 27, and he's only been in the league for 3 years.
That's what we're going to see a lot more of.
Absolutely, that's gonna be the norm. It really is, unless you're a first rounder, and even then, the first rounder is going to get older too. You'll have to be an early first rounder to leave early. Adam Huddle says feels like they drafted Oliver specifically to play Sam for the Halfley defense. Maybe, I mean, a year ago here, we were kind of confused why they drafted Colin Oliver. And again, he's got some numbers from college that make you really excited. He was a very productive player and versatile too. But in the NFL, I just think it's going to be hard to find a role for him because he's such a tweener. And I don't know.
He just doesn't move like Parsons to be an edge rusher at that.
Well, you remember
of a weight.
You remember what Sam stands for, right, Jake? Super athletic man.
Oh, same as Micah is what I thought you were going to say.
Same as Micah.
So,
Tulpa says Sonny Styles will be picked by Philly because it's always sunny in Philadelphia. That's
nice.
Brilliant. I love that. That's amazing.
Boy, I hope not. I hope not. That would be horrendous for everyone involved. And by everyone, I mean the other 31 teams. So,
all right,
that would suck.
We're gonna do the
never put that out there again.
Draft.
Never put that out there again.
So I'll remind you that the tool for this mock draft was the mock draft that makes Jake really happy. So share this here. All right, we have to set this up. Okay, we don't have AI to help us right now, Jake. We can't AI is not helping us ID the moments that need to be clipped. So I'm going to set this up. Oh, dang, we got our guy. Ken Ingalls. Riley probably not giving anything this year with a blown Achilles. I can't decide whether I'm more excited that Ken Ingalls is here in the chat or that we have multiple people on X commenting on here. Because even though the X numbers are always really good, we never get comments from X. But I super appreciate having Ken's expertise on here. That's true. Riley's probably not going to be a contributor this year. So who was it? Who said that? Daryl, you probably won't have to watch Jordan Riley this year.
Yeah.
So, win for everybody except for the people who want depth in the defensive tackle room.
It's true.
Too old for this. Sam stands for super awkward Musgrave.
Facts.
So here we go. Jake, which big board do you want to do here? We have Trevor Sikkema or Trevor Sikkema to choose from. You want to just go with the PFF big board?
Let's just go default.
How about this? Is this okay with you? Those sliders?
That means that's good news for everybody because then edge won't be the pick because I don't think the further you move up the care for positional value, which I think you should, we will see.
I'm setting it straight defaults. Pure.
No, I think you move it up 1 or 2 notches.
Will that make you happy? Because remember, this is what
I think
Tool for this paid for.
It'll be. What makes me happy is realism. So
I'm hoping that this mock draft doesn't give you any PTSD from 2 episodes ago when we spent the whole episode trying to make you happy, and we had to ask after every mock draft, did that make you happy? So since Tool for this is sponsoring a mock draft designed to make you happy, I just hope that if that fills you with rage, that you take it out on Tool for this and not on me. Are you,
Indeed,
Jake,
let's go.
trading before we start?
No.
This is your chance to trade Jordan Riley
I'm good.
for Jalen Carter.
I'm good. We can't trade 2028 ones, so we can't do anything that I would probably want to do in that regard.
I know something you do want to do because Malachi Lawrence is sitting right here at pick 52.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else that you are considering?
I don't think so. Yeah, this is the guy at this spot consistently now. Woof. Oh, boy.
So we just missed out on Big Citrus and Devin Moore. Keelan Rutledge went about 5 picks ago-ish. And Mike Washington Jr. is off the board. So is there a position you'd like me to highlight here?
Let's go Rogue.
What position does Rogue from the X-Men play?
Oh, he plays tight end for Georgia.
You're doing it?
I might. I would think about it. I would think about it here for sure. I would think about. Oh well, I guess we're doing it.
You didn't want to actually do it? I thought you wanted.
I said I was thinking about it for sure, but it's fine. We'll let this roll out and see what happens.
I can undo it. I'm just going to undo it for you.
Okay.
Here's your third round.
I would
pick.
Consider it for sure, just because again we're looking at like Corey Ramsey's slot defender, Chandler Rivers small corner. Sam Hecht would be good if they weren't committed at center. At this juncture, Anthony Hill, my thoughts there. I think Green Bay would really like him. I'm less enthused. Sam Roush, yes, again, fits a lot of what we want the guy next to Kraft to look like, except for kind of maybe the all-important part about being a receiving threat, and that is catching the football. I mean, we should check defensive tackles.
I think so.
But also
Rashan.
Also.
So we have Rashan, Dante Corleone, Tim Keenan, McClellan.
How about this, JJ?
Yes, sir.
How about we take Trey Zune here? We take that.
You just
do that.
You just want to make me happy, but this is
because I think this. I think this is literally you take him or you take Casey. I don't think if you're gonna go offensive line,
why not both?
Direction. I mean, it's possible, But I'm also thinking if McClellan gets to 120, we do that.
Look, Cage Casey is sitting right here
Cage
for
Casey
us
is there.
at 120, but so is Bud Clark or your guy, Carson Beck. I know that'd make you happy in the Make Jake Happy mock draft.
Sure. Let's get McClellan. I think we get McClellan here. I think that's exactly.
How nervous do you think the chat is that we haven't taken any corners yet?
We're not taking one. It's 160 either, folks. This is the dealt pick. We're not waiting any longer. Period. Don't care.
Yeah,
not looking at it. Not worried about who's available.
If Delp is still available, there's nobody here at corner that tempts me.
No one will stop me.
Here he is.
Yeah, no chance.
Delp attack in the 5th round. Yeah, you couldn't have waited on him any longer.
I just don't. I think realistically, with that athleticism, the fact that he has been a blocker in the SEC and has done a pretty bang up job at his worst, I just don't know how we see that guy get out of probably the top 150. Am I insane? Am I insane for thinking Red Murdoch's the guy right here? I feel like that's not.
No, this is probably the direction I would go. Let's just take all linebacker real quick.
Yeah,
the only other guys I'd be considering would be like Jack Kelly. I'm not really in on Harold Perkins.
Honestly,
Lander Barton maybe.
You know why this makes me happy? Because you know how many crash outs there are going to be about corner.
Yeah, but
it's
you know
hilarious to me. This is hilarious. I love it.
You just have to go and trade for a guy at that point. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, you got 2 7th rounders to play with. What position do you want to focus in on?
Wide receiver.
All right, Lewis Bond. Lewis Bond. Or Lewis Bond.
Now, I know.
Do we have a Noah Thomas comment? No, that was Noah Short. I would just want to know about Noah Short. You like I don't see anybody else.
Who do I like? I was like, wait. I mean, I'd consider Malik Benson. Actually.
Nobody's forcing you to draft a wide receiver here in the 7th.
Oh, I know. No one is. It's funnier because we're not even looking at corner. I will say Jordan Hudson dominated Miami. And that's not a team a lot of receivers dominated all year.
Jordan Hudson, according to PFF, 6'1", 200. He was senior. 2.16 yards per out run. That is respectable. Drop rate, 6%. Was not very productive until this year. Wide receiver out of SMU.
Yeah.
What are you thinking here, Jake?
I think Lewis Bond would be like a good replacement for Reed for a few reasons. However,
Daryl Azian wants to take Vinny Anthony the second.
See that.
And Tool for this wants to know why we're considering drafting Bill Belichick's girlfriend out of SMU.
Yeah, that's fair. Man, is Heidenreich still here?
I think he is actually. Yeah,
I think he was at 2. Oh, I don't know if he is.
He
gone. Was at 200, but
he's gone.
All right, I'm gonna wait at receiver.
Probably a good idea if you're not doing Lewis Bond.
Offensive line. Yeah. Okay. So.
Bryce Foster, Davian Carter. I hate that all of our late round steals have risen so much. Oh, Nick Dawkins. It's a little picked over, man.
Has Logan Can you go all the way down to all the way down the bottom? Logan Taylor, has he only played guard? I'm trying to remember. No, he has not only played guard. That's interesting.
He has over 1,000 snaps at left tackle in the last 3 seasons.
Sounds good to me.
And
sounds good to me.
There you go. Logan Taylor, Boston College.
Let's do that.
Yeah, one more pick.
Yeah. So I think, man, I really want to take
I know what you're doing. You're doing Eric O'Neill.
I think I want to do that. The only other thing would be it's him or it's like Benson, Bond, or Terrion Stewart still here at running back.
If Terrion's there, I bet you're taking him. Otherwise, I think you're going to have to go with...
he's not. So
Eric O'Neill.
Yeah, this is lovely. Yeah, I think we... No, I think
you've never seen someone so stressed about his final 7th round pick.
I think we take a receiver.
Oh, he's going back. He's going back to the well. You going Benson?
Yeah, let's do that.
Malik Benson, wide receiver out of Oregon, 6'1", 195, a senior, 2.6 yards per out run. That's nice. We also have a 2.3% drop rate in 2025.
That feels really
boom.
Nice.
Lock it and load it. This is the sponsored by tool for this.
Welcome.
Make Jake happy.
To the Packers, Trayvon Diggs.
Mock draft.
It's been far too long, my friend. It's been far too long.
All right. Since nobody...
We do need at least one Malik on the team. This is facts.
Since nobody has sponsored any other weird mock drafts, I say we need to
should we let
do a
the
mock
folks,
draft where we are...
Should we let them in?
Really trying to ensure that we fix defensive line.
Okay.
Or, Jake, you could Venmo Derailed Football and sponsor a mock draft.
That's true. I could do that. Could be fun.
All right, here we are at 52. Let's just look real quick at the D lineman available. It's already feeling a little picked over here. D tackle, it's kind of Rashan, Big Citrus. It's about it as far as, like, obviously McClellan's still there.
Yeah.
This is not instilling confidence in it. Let's just see who the best players are, because maybe at 52, we trade down. But Keith Abney is here. I think Keith Abney is probably worth taking at 52. There's Brazel is there. Stukes. I want to take a look at the trades available here, because I just don't love what's available.
Might be able to net that.
Chargers want to move up 3 spots.
See if we can net that 4th. Yeah, they're not.
Drew. Here we go. Hold on a second. We got a mock draft or a dono from Drew. Try to trade up with Seattle with our 2nd and 3rd to take a DT like Peter Woods. You know, we haven't taken anybody yet. Let's just restart this and go ahead and do that.
Let's do it. Take a kicker, Rod, too.
We're going to try and trade with Seattle. Whoops. All right. So let's see. Seattle. So Seattle. So it looks like Seattle would take our 52 and our 84. So let's try that.
You started the accidental start draft.
I do that every time. You know what?
I swear,
it gives me an opportunity, though.
I do say PFF needs to, when you're in the trade phase, I feel like the offer trades should be blue and the start draft should be white, because that stands out. And so every time, I've done it on several occasions as well. See, you could click on a draft, it's blue, right? They got to make the offer trade blue.
Yep.
Because they simply won't. And I don't know why.
So here's the opportunity that this affords me, though, is that I can set this up nicely for an easy clip. Ready? We have a sponsored mock draft from Drew suggesting that we try and trade up with Seattle at pick 32 and give them our second and third to take a defensive tackle like Peter Woods. So we're going to offer that trade to them here. Boom, They took it. We're going to go ahead and start the draft. This time, Jake, both buttons are blue, you may notice.
Yes.
So I can't get confused about clicking the wrong button.
Yeah, and
they're identical.
Even if you click trade again, nothing's going to happen. We'll just go back to that same screen. And
Can I retrade picks 2 and 3 to Seattle again? That'd be cool.
That'd be kind of sick.
I can get a second first-round pick for them.
Not to mention, you could probably move back from 32 if you really wanted to.
Well, we're not going to get that.
I can't imagine Woods will be here, but there will be other options. Yeah, pretty much everybody.
We got K-Mac, Caleb Banks, Kristen Miller, Lee Hunter. I'll just say I would far rather have Kristen Miller over Peter Woods anyway, so that doesn't make me sad. Kristen Miller is my pick here. Who would you like to take? Although I do like Kid McDonald a lot.
I think it's one of those two guys. I think if you want the guy who might be able to grow into the pass rusher, but he's going to get, he's going to do exactly what Gannon wants him to do, is eat up space while I commit all these bodies to coverage. Or if you want to move Christian Miller around, all around the defensive line, that's an option as well.
Both these guys are only 21. This is delicious.
This is why
Chris Miller, 6'4", 310. Kid McDonald, 6'3", 326.
Which, hold on, let me make sure. All right, we're double check those numbers now. Those might be right.
It's so tough because
those might be right in terms of what they were playing at.
I also just really like Cade McDonald as a person, so that makes it even harder to decide between these two excellent players.
Okay, Christian Miller came in at 321 at the combine. It's big.
Christian Miller, so he's an inch taller and about the same weight then.
Yeah. No, not HBO Max. These dang ads.
I think I'm leaning.
Was 6'2" and an eighth, 326. So yeah, so he was 326 at the combine.
I think I'm just ever so slightly leaning Kristen Miller, but I would be thrilled to get Cade McDonald. Which way are you leaning?
I think I'd lean Miller just because I think the skill set. I think
so. Kristen Miller had really better payoff because our next pick is in the 4th round.
Yep.
I wonder if we missed on any good players in between those rounds.
For sure.
We're going to come out of here with 6.
That's okay. Cage Casey is available. Oh, we could. Well,
Cage Casey is available. I'm going to
move back 2 spots with Atlanta.
I want to look at corner and edge real quick and just see if there's anybody that I can't believe is still here. Charles Demings.
Corner stinky, man.
But Demings is not stinky, and frankly, Tech Davis is not.
Nobody wants any of those corners, man.
All right, what are the Falcons going to give us to move back 2 spots? They're going to give us pick 215. I'll do that. Would you move back 2 spots for pick 215?
Go for all of it.
They won't give us both.
I mean, they might. They might.
Well, we can offer.
It's right on the line.
We could just swap 255 for 231.
That's true.
Let's do that.
Okay.
All right. We'll at least have one additional player. Here we go. Cage Casey's still here.
Who did we lose? I wonder.
We missed out on Garrett Nussmeier and Seth McGowan.
We're fine. Guys, we're fine.
Jiminy Christmas.
The
Pats want to move 3 spots.
Sure.
And give us a
170?
They won't even give us 191. What? They won't even give us 202. They won't give us. All they want to give us is 247.
Screw you, Elliot Wolf.
All right, let's see. And then the Ravens want to move up a lot, so you got to
need all of them.
Good. The best they'll give us is 173. Is that a 5th or a 4th? That's a 5th.
Yeah, it's a 5th.
Do you want a 5th to move 30 spots? I don't want to do that. So Cage Casey, Charles Demings, Tack Davis. I think those are probably the 3 guys I'm locked in on. But I still don't like that we haven't done anything about edge, and here we are in the 4th round. It makes me want to consider Caden Curry or Mason Reiger.
I think I'd rather have Keisean than those two.
I think I would too,
Personally.
but I'm starting to get very nervous about edge at this point.
That's the thing. That's understandable because that's kind of where we're like, if we want to address edge rusher, kind of would like to do it.
And that's why we're really needing Kristen Miller to step up, but they just don't do it in year one.
Yeah,
those defensive tackles. So
yep.
I think that we do have to come away with an edge rusher really soon here. Corner real quick and see if there's any corners that. Yeah, so Demi's is gone. Julian Neal is probably like the last guy here. It's Julian Neal.
He's the last night. Yeah.
Caden Curry's right here. Eric O'Neill, obviously. I think I'd rather have Caden Curry than Julian Neal. 6'3", 260. He's kind of an older player. Let's take Caden Curry here.
Curry's not going to be lacking in the motor department one bit.
He's also a good glue guy, good culture glue guy. Darryl wants to take Brian Parker.
BJ Payne, some are saying, could play corner.
Brian Parker.
He is unfortunate. He's not a corner, but he is a safety. He is a safety, and some are saying that even at 6'3", 210, he could play some corner. And I think I'd trust him to play corner over wanting either of the Washington guys, to be honest. Those guys feel like combine fool's gold.
BJ Payne, definitely appealing. Red Murdoch would be nice at linebacker here. Oscar Delp. Oh, let's go to Oscar Delp here, though.
Okay.
Help out that offensive line a little bit more. We've been building the defensive trenches.
Corners.
Would you rather have VJ Payne or Oscar Delp?
I mean Oscar Delp, of course, but we have not picked VJ Payne this evening. But tool of assist Oscar Delp in every mock draft tonight. You right.
If we don't take VJ Payne, it's
rough. It's rough out there.
It's right out of Nebraska.
It's rough out there.
Where's Hallman? Still down there in the 400s.
He's still down there.
Let's take Payne. Let's punt one more time on. Look, we got it. It paid off. We got Delp here at 215.
Why not both?
Incredible. Look at Skylar Gill Howard has fallen all the way to 212 here and counting.
Certainly has.
That's crazy.
All right, I wish for his sake that Gill Howard was about an inch taller and about 25 pounds heavier. We'd be cooking with absolute gas. If he still moved at that size, that would be crazy.
I'm taking Terrion Stewart here, but I'm very tempted to go Micah Morris.
I think you go Micah Morris. The dogs. The dogs.
Look at this. We got three dogs in this draft already. We could wrap it up with Noah Thomas here.
I think you got to go.
Stewart's still sitting here.
Oh yeah, I guess you went Caden Curry.
Oh, Lewis Bond. Lewis Bond, Terrion. We need running back. We need some running back help.
All right. Works for me.
Terrion's nice. Terrion's nice.
Indeed. Big fan.
All right, so I think that the trade back was really necessary after trading up because we have so many needs to address that picking up those extra later round picks are pretty important. And we didn't see how the board would have fallen in the second round in this particular draft, but the last couple that we did, when you're sitting there at 52, there's not really anybody sitting there that usually makes you feel like you have to not pass on a guy, right? Drew says Kristen Miller can be a key piece for Gannon. I think that this is the thing is that even if it's not a safe bet that Miller is going to be an immediate contributor in year one.
Yeah.
We need to build these trenches going forward. Gannon's probably going to be here a while. And that defensive tackle room needs some serious rebuilding. I'm not advocating for trading up. Miller feels like maybe one of those guys who would be worth trading up for. Drew says I think it's more likely to trade up with a second and a fourth.
Do we want to see what happens if we move to the late 30s, early 40s as kind of a last?
Let's do that. Let's see what the second and fourth can get us.
Yeah. Just let that thing when we get to you can slow play it. Yeah.
You want to slow play it?
Get to the 30s, see what we like there, and maybe it's not for DT, maybe it's for something else, but they do all go, and that's yes. And so maybe it's not for DT, maybe it's for a falling Chris Johnson. Who knows? And then you can go get a Halton or someone else in the third, and all right.
All right, we're gonna slow roll this a bit here. We'll slow it down more as it gets.
Love Delane. Cardinal take to the Bengals. Sick.
I don't hate that. I really don't.
Omar Cooper to the Chargers. Venga Ioane to Chicago.
The Bears.
You have to be kidding. All right, let's see here. Concepcion. Dang it.
So, K-Mac is still available. Kristen Miller is still available.
Dang it. No, K-Mac.
I think maybe we wait
K-Mac
until
gone.
one of those guys. K-Mac's gone?
Yeah, he went to New England.
Oh, there he is.
Which, that's weird, but whatever. It's fine.
Is there anybody else
other than Miller?
Like Caleb Banks is already gone. So it's Kristen Miller and who else? Who's the other defensive tackle that we're waiting on here?
I mean, it'd be Lee Hunter. I think it's only
and
those two.
I would significantly rather have Miller than Hunter, even though I like Miller. So if we were to trade with the Giants here, well, let's see. We can probably get ahead of somebody though. Let's get ahead of the Bengals at 41. Let's call up the Chiefs.
All right.
You know what? Let's let it roll toward the Chiefs. So Miller, okay. Pregnon, Lomu.
Boy,
Peter Woods. Oh, there was the one. Peter Woods.
Wow,
okay.
Woods. Okay.
That's okay. I don't like Peter Woods.
Ruben
Chiefs
Bain Jr.
So we're only moving up 12 picks at this point.
Yes.
So 52 and 120. Looks like it doesn't get us there.
50. Yeesh.
Oh, that's next year's picks. Oops. All right.
53%.
This is saying that 255 actually tips the scales for us, which I kind of doubt. But let's just.
It's another swing.
They took it.
Okay.
That's crazy that they took it.
Okay. So abandon everything that we just said and take D'Angelo. No. Wait, can you scroll down just real quick? Just real quick.
It's gonna make you sick.
Ooh. We
don't trade up to 40 for Chris Johnson. We trade up to 40 for Kristen Miller. Kristen Miller.
Wait. That wasn't even. Go down again. Go down overtime.
Who are you looking at?
I was looking at our Mason Thomas. Juice.
You didn't like our Mason Thomas. Juice. I was talking about him for a couple of weeks, and I thought you were like trying to calm me down.
You've got players confused, my friend. You've got some players confused. Juice, my friend. Now we can go get Miller again. Works for me. We're
taking Miller here.
Now we can move back a bunch from 84.
Let's do that.
We can move back a bunch.
Our Mason's gone. Halton's gone. That's okay. We don't need Halton anymore.
They drafted Colin Oliver. Nobody is too small anymore. They've drafted Colin.
Tulvis wants to take Oscar Delp here at 84.
Amen.
All right, there's only one trade available. The Vikings want to move up. What is that? 13 spots. They're offering 1. Oh. They're giving everything. They're giving us their entire draft class for 84.
Sure. I mean, if that's
They'll even go as a 5th rounder next year, man.
wow. All right. Jeez. Minnesota.
Huh.
What?
They didn't do it.
They didn't want. They didn't want to do it. Is that that's
All
so?
right,
That's
we'll let them keep their pick 244
it would
out of the goodness of our heart. Now I gotta
What
see who
the
they take.
heck
I'm gonna
is
slow this way
this?
down. I gotta see who they
What the
take.
heck is this?
Chandler Rivers.
God, that's
come on.
that's.
Do you guys actually want to do this, or is it too stupid? I feel like it's too stupid.
All right.
Oh, I can't undo a trade, can I?
No.
Bummer. Guess I got to keep.
All right, we
these
got
things-
10 seconds.
keep
Guess we
picks.
got 10 seconds to make each pick, and then we'll do. Then we'll try again. All right, run.
Ted Hurst or Jayden Barham. I think Barham.
Barham, yeah, Barham.
Just trying to see
100%.
anybody else that gets
100%.
me really excited.
100%. Nobody else. We got a long wait.
All right, we're at 160, and we pick again really soon.
We haven't
Keisean
picked
Allen.
Raritan before. Raritan.
See, we haven't picked Raritan.
Not tonight.
We picked him a bunch of times.
Not tonight. We haven't picked him tonight. Raritan. And who is
Would you
Barham
rather have
playing
Raritan or
edge?
Katron?
Is Barham playing edge or linebacker? Because that matters. With
No, he's playing linebacker, which is why we should look at edge.
So
again.
that means okay.
It'd be funny to pair Caden Curry and Kristen Miller again.
Let's.
I don't think we need to do that here, though.
Pivot. Let's try Raritan. We're picking 3 picks.
We're back on the clock already. We could take Katron here. We could take Elrumzor.
We haven't taken Neal.
Oh,
Tonight.
which Neil? Julian Neal?
We have not taken Julian Neal tonight. It's an option.
We might have to. He's kind of the only corner. Would you rather have Julian Neal or VJ Payne?
I mean, Julian Neal's played more corner, so let's. I think we roll with that.
All right, taking the corner out of Arkansas.
Three cone be darned at pick 163.
Now, if you want your wide receiver, here's Heidenreich, since you like him as a wide receiver. We have not taken any offensive linemen yet.
Oh, you right. You right.
Ooh, it's picked over Matt Golban, Micah Morris. We are in the 6th round, so I guess that makes sense. Let's go with Golban. We know he can play.
Yep.
Micah's kind of just an athlete.
I mean, we're on the clock in 5 picks, so we can roll again, or we could go get Zane Durant.
D tackle, edge,
A little
tight
more
end,
juice.
corner, center.
Could get a little more juice.
You want Zane? But Murdoch's right here. We've been doing that a bunch, but
We have, but if you want to get Eric O'Neill, just don't mess around. We haven't picked Robert Henry Jr. maybe ever.
Robert Henry Jr.
He's a running
Let's
back.
do Eric O'Neill. Where's Robert Henry Jr.?
He's a running back.
That's right. Ugh.
Robert. How about that best game though against A&M? That's what we like to see. Eric
We got
O'Neill.
3
is the
7th
pick
rounders to
here.
work with here. Can we take?
We gotta take O'Neill. Gotta take offensive line.
Micah Morris. Let's take Morris here. We passed on him earlier.
Do I like Betcher? As
Betcher's
the
still here?
linebacker? Do I like Betcher? The NFL Stock
Betcher's
Exchange
gone, man.
folks dubbed him a
Betcher's
part of
long
the
ago.
Caucasian Collision Club, which is great.
We better take running back where I'd say.
Cole Payton.
All right, here we go. We stole the Vikings' entire draft class, which I'm fine with.
Not mad at that.
Crappy corner out of Duke.
Not mad at that.
You know, even though we took so many,
Boy, they really don't
Their
like Cole
picks.
Payton anymore.
we still only ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 players.
Betcher's going in the 4th. He'd have to. That's pretty high up for again what this linebacker class provides.
I could see Betcher in the 4th. That wouldn't feel shocking to me. So here we took we really did not take Eric O'Neill was our only edge guy because Barham is playing linebacker for us.
Yeah.
Kristen Miller.
He might
at
moonlight.
D-tackle, and we got Barham at linebacker.
Barham might moonlight a little.
You might have to. Again, we got this defense full of just tweeners all over the place.
Good.
This one I don't love as much, I'm going to be honest.
Happens.
It happens to the best of us. Make sure we don't have any more requests. And then
They want us to draft Keisean Elliott instead of Barham. No. Will not do that. So
this one, here's what I want to do. I want to have like a sort of a tier of Chris Johnson and Kristen Miller and R. Mason Thomas and try and trade up when only one of those guys is left. Unless there's somebody else who weirdly falls lower than that.
yeah.
Celtic Falk.
Oh. I got you.
I feel like I should have made this go a little bit faster up until this point. Peter Woods to the Patriots. K-Mac. Kristen Miller's gone. We got 2 guys left.
No.
Pons. Chris Johnson's gone. Okay, so the Saints are well, R. Mason Thomas, but the Saints are probably going to take him here. They're probably not going to want to trade with us. It's 10 spots.
Who they pick in the first round?
They picked where are they? Did they trade out of the first round?
No, they're at 8. They took Caleb Downs. So
yeah, they're taking our Mason Thomas here.
It's probably
we got to move up 10 spots.
Move off that pick. See if you can get 172 back in this.
Not really.
Okay. Well, you can definitely get 190, which is fine.
Kind of barely. I'm going to offer it and see if they even take that. This is painful to move out of the 4th round. Yeah, it's got to be done though. Let's see if they do this for us. Give us 190. They did. All right. So we're taking our Mason Thomas here. So the guy you wanted to take last time. So we got to wait 40 more picks. So I'm gonna speed this up. It's gonna be a minute before we're back up here. We got 5 teams who want to trade with us. The Dolphins only want to move 3 spots. They are offering 151.
Yep, works for me. Really don't love.
Who we missed out on was Dalen Everett. We still have 2 more
Dare to
teams
take
wanting to trade
Kieran
with
Crawford.
us. The Bills want to move 4 spots. Ooh. They would give us 165 and 220.
Sure.
Let me just check and see if there's anybody I would think we need. Let's see what corner and D-tackle look like. Just on the off chance there's somebody. Rashan. I don't know how I want to move out of reach of Rashan because there's nobody else that... Let's see corner real quick.
They wouldn't go get Rashan.
Yeah, but we have to move back.
They wouldn't do it. The Bears will do it.
The Bears probably will.
No, honestly, Buffalo might. But it's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Devin Moore to the Jags. Rashan to the Bears. This is a horrible trade. Why did we do this?
I don't know. I'm not that broken up. I'll live to fight another day.
All right. Jake Slaughter sitting here at 91. Kieran Crawford. Logan Jones. I wouldn't mind Logan Jones, I suppose. Man, I wish there was another D tackle. Like our next guy really is. If we're not doing Dante Corleone, our next guy is McClellan.
It's hard not to move up for anybody but one of the top DTs.
Cage Casey
makes it that much.
Do you want to take Chris McClellan here? It's another 60 picks until we're back on the clock again, since we don't have a fourth rounder.
Yeah, probably.
And I hate that we kind of have to reach on D tackle like that, but we desperately need it.
We're probably going to be doing it one way or another. So
this little exercise makes me kind of feel like DT is the only position that you should be considering moving up for. Just based on how this draft class kind of stacks up, with it being kind of thin at DT. What was it? True. Corner? Devin, I kind of want to go Devin Marshall here. Are you okay with that at 151?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do Devin Marshall here. So our first three picks are addressing edge, D tackle, and corner. I don't hate that.
O-line.
At all. Katron. Whoops. Give me that.
It's O-line time. Poop.
Pat Coogan.
Poop.
I would rather have Katron over any of these guys.
It's hard to... I actually don't mind parting with the third round pick. Especially
over the fourth round.
Especially if you can get Trey Zoon at 120. Like, that seems just about right.
I feel like we're learning a lot of things with this exercise. It's kind of a fun exercise.
Yeah.
You want to hit this comment from Drew?
Drew says, I just don't get what R. Mason gives us that we don't have another light pass rushers. I think the one thing is that he held up pretty well when Oklahoma asked him to be essentially a 4-eye in 3 down fronts. So I think that's what he gives. That's a little bit different. He's a little like Anderson in that way from Bama, of like these more undersized players that defend the run, I think, proportionally better to what you would to how you would perceive them to do at their weight.
So I kind of want to, at this spot, either go Caden Curry or Elarm Zor.
I like Elarm Zor. My Elarm Zor alarm is going off every time in the fifth. We still have no line.
Do you want to take Matt Golden?
Sure. It feels like if you want to tackle
Iowa Joe says Jack Kelly. I think he's still available here too, isn't he?
Probably.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's big. Big boy.
6'2", 242. It makes me sick that that's what passes as big for linebackers these days. That run defense grade, 65.
I mean,
my goodness. How do you have a 65 run defense grade when you're like the biggest linebacker in the class? This is why the linebackers today are just sad.
It's true. It's true.
Oh, look at that. I took Matt Golden over Pat Coogan. How do you feel about that?
Works for
I wasn't intending to. I didn't realize Coogan was there.
Works for me.
I'm taking Delp at 201. Do you want to go Heidenreich at 220? Let me see who they are.
Yes.
The other Sturdivant and Bond are available.
Sturdivant's on AARP. I'm good. I'm good there. Heidenreich.
Okay, we'll do Heidenreich. Eric O'Neill. Because we still only have one edge. All right, we're taking Heidenreich. He's going to play wide receiver for us. Although I like him better as a fullback. But I like Max Bredesen even better as a fullback. Can we take him?
That tracks. Look at all these. Wait. Have
one
you
for
taken
you, one for me? What did you say?
I think. Wait a minute. Have we? No. Okay. No. Okay.
We have one edge rusher, one defensive tackle, and one cornerback. And somehow we have two kind of
skill position players.
yeah. Plus Gatron.
3 skill position players. Whew. Yikes. Yeah, it seems we're better off sticking and accruing some picks, even moving back from 52.
I would love to move back from 52.
Yeah, I think it goes move back from 52, right? Of course. Move up to get a DT and then stick. I think those are the kind of the big 3 in terms of making moves in this draft class. Who is our backup QB going to be? I think it's going to be Ritter, or it's going to be Taylon Green, Luke Altmaier, kind of one of those guys.
This draft right here is kind of interesting, the one we just did.
Yeah. If you pretend for fun, for the folks, that the first pick is Lawrence and not Thomas, do you like it better? I think that would be a yes for most.
Interesting theory. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to try and trade down from 52.
Okay.
And then trade up for a D tackle. Yes? That's what you just proposed.
Move down and then move. Okay.
Yeah, you said move down from 52 and then up for a D tackle.
Oh, no. So I meant the 3 scenarios from that second round pick. Move down, everyone's favorite, of course. After that, it's move up for a DT from 52.
Oh,
and then
right.
After that, it's stick and pick it.
I agree with that.
I think that's.
I agree with your assessment of our.
It just option. Again, it seems like getting into the late 30s, early 40s for one of the guys, if they were to slip there, is valuable enough to have the return on that investment. Whoa, McNeil Warren to the Vikings. Wow. Cassius to Philly. Yes, Chicago. Thank you so much for doing that. You clowns. Exactly what I wanted you to do. You dummies. Slow. Wow.
Kristen Miller's gone.
Oh.
Chris Johnson is still available. Pond is still available.
Less excited. Thank you, Chicago. Big ups to Chicago, everybody. Give a hand to Chicago. Give them a hand.
Lee Hunter just went.
Give Chicago a hand.
He was kind of the last one.
Give Chicago a hand.
What did Chicago do that was so funny? I didn't see it.
A hand.
They took
Give
Kelder
him a
Fall.
hand, baby. Let's go. Love that.
Rodriguez just went to the Dolphins.
God, Dolphins must be cooking. They got
Chris Johnson just went to the Raiders.
Concepcion at 30. Oh, wow.
Thomas, the Falcons.
Okay.
Here we are with our pick of Malachi Lawrence or a couple trade downs.
I would like to propose this. I can't imagine that this happens. But if you go a little bit ahead there, right? About what, 5 picks? Lomu at 47. Yeah.
Oh, I would definitely do
left
Lomu.
Tackle experience. Move up a few spots to go get him as well. I think is also something that Green Bay should consider. Huh?
I said. I think I said I would like to get Lomu. I think that's what I said.
I think that'd be an interesting scenario too.
I don't really want to trade up for him, but if he was at 52,
preferably not. But yes,
If he was at 52, there's not a lot of guys I would take over him
for sure. Yeah, I think. Whew. Even if we pick up 202, oh baby, yeah. I mean, that's fine. Yeah, that feels nice.
All right, we traded down from 52 to pick up 63, 95, and 191.
Yeah, Lomu is Redshirt's off, I think. So.
And the only guy we're passing up on here was Malachi Lawrence, and he went to the Steelers. So Dunker, Scott.
That's super upsetting.
DDS.
Oh my gosh, the Bears, DDS and Keldrick Folk. That's Goody's music, man. Jeez Louise. Fan me off. I'll be laughing so hard at those clowns.
Tampa's offering us to move 14 spots down to 63. They would give us 116 and 155.
Do we love anybody at this spot?
And 229. I like. I don't see anybody I like enough to not accept this package. I like Keelan Rutledge.
The question is, how does it look after you get past like the first 15 names on the list? Because that's essentially what's going to be happening.
Well, here's the other problem. Oh, Rashan. Here's the other problem is that, the Packers also don't want a bajillion rookies on the roster either. I don't know that they want this many rookies. So it'd be nice to have those
9 picks.
I think we stick and pick.
9 picks would be nice, yes. But we're in a... I mean, they could go get Orange or Halton here. And, I mean, I know what I'd do.
Do you like Darrell Jackson?
Meh. I'm pretty meh. I don't know.
So you'd rather have Benny. I think I'd rather have Orange than Benny, but I'm okay with Benny.
Yeah, I'm fine with Rashan Benny, of course. Just the price has gone up.
Shocker. I didn't realize that was what you were.
The price has gone up, and...
You know what? If Rashan is the guy we're targeting, and Big Citrus and Grayson and Darrell Jackson are all still here, pretty solid chance that moving back those 14 spots, we actually can get one of those guys.
This is true.
And maybe like 50% chance that one of those guys we can get is Rashan.
I think Benny's going to be there at 84, and we get to pick here anyway, which is also quite nice. I think a 4 for 1 probably feels unlikely at this juncture. And again, this is the question, right? You kind of talked about it. Do you want to have this many picks for rookies?
Wait, I got an idea. Let's do some pick swaps.
Okay.
Let's do this. We'll move up from a 255 to get 229. Maybe we'll pick swap 191 and then 195.
Okay.
Does that feel crazy to you?
It's a little wild, but it's fine. I think, if you're maybe interested in not paying number 9, you could take the Tennessee kid here too. So, just saying.
Yeah, but then we're missing out on all those D tackles because our next pick is 84. Like maybe
I assume
Rashan's
Benny will be there at 84. But I get what you're saying. That's fine.
Let's try this one.
This will be our last mock draft scenario for the evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, that's true. We're at 90 minutes. Whoops.
Yeah.
All right. Grayson's gone. Brazel's gone.
This board's about to look real thin.
Big Citrus is gone. IGB's gone. Rutledge is gone. Okay. But we are here for D-Tech. This is our first pick of the draft, FYI. So we're taking Rashan.
Man.
We're about to pick again.
Geez.
What, Anthony Hill? Is that what was making you sad?
No, Surratt. Would have been a nice pick there.
All right. So Devin Moore is here.
Being at 84 is like one of my least favorite things to do.
Do you want to trade down from here?
No, I don't think it makes
Only trade.
95
Raiders.
never looks that enticing. I don't know. I mean, I'm Max Clare. Never done it. Tonight, we rarely ever do it. I don't know if we've ever done it.
I'm not really
I'm
not really in on doing it. So,
all right. I think we just take Zune here then, or Kieran Crawford. I think those are the only two guys that I'm like remotely excited about.
Zune's probably the pick for me, but I wouldn't hate Demings here.
We also have 4 picks in the next like 35. So,
all right. So we're gonna do Zune here. Both these are probably going to be rated as huge reaches by PFF, but I don't care. They're the best 2 players that we had to pick from. Devin Moore's gone. Dang it.
I think you have to.
Ted Hurst.
I think you have to play Barryn at edge if you're going to pick him at this juncture. I feel like Crawford would have been really nice to pick, which is unfortunate.
No, Riger and Curry are still here.
I know, but those Curry's a heavier guy. Riger's a lightweight. Since I know people are, and I know we were talking about that a lot.
There's a lot of corners here. I'm not the biggest Dalen Everett guy in the world, but he's definitely a Packer type.
Yeah.
And at 95, I don't hate him. Let's take Dalen Everett here. How do you feel about that?
Lovely. It's just lovely. Lovely. Tough scenes.
A lot of guys I love
As
going.
we trickle down the board.
I'm holding out hope for Curry here. Casey at 116.
I mean,
Brian Parker at 116.
I'd probably double down.
On which position?
Say, screw it. Let's get our old line right. We're picking 4 picks anyway. It's not going to harm us too much here. So, Demings, if he's there, we can double up. Or
he's there. Woo, woo.
Okay, so we've doubled up at corner, which we just have not done very often at all. O-line gets the facelift that I think we believe that it needs. So that's good news. My only hope is that Alarmzor is here.
Marshall's coming. All right, what do we not do? We got D tackle.
Alarmzor, please. Please be here. Please be here, my king.
Caden Curry.
Oh, wait, we have 2 picks. We have 2 picks.
So 169 for Alarmzor, or
can we move up to 156 and
move
secure
up to
both?
156?
Yeah, move up 4 spots and secure that. Secure Alarmzor and Curry. Then we feel pretty good. It probably will not.
I'm not even sure how we would do that, because how do we find out who wants? What do we even? Oh, we have to call up. So who's at 156?
Who's at 156? The Colts.
The Colts.
They probably want some more picks, honestly.
We have picks to spare at this point now.
Yeah, I think so.
The heck are the Colts? I hate this in the alphabetical. It makes me so mad.
Honestly, it might be worth trading most of the back end of this draft, even if you want to keep 160. We don't want to move back. I think we want to make sure. Yeah, there we go.
For 255, they're going to move up
spots.
Move back 5. That seems.
That works. Then we're picking our last picks at 201. Yeah, good with that.
To make it more realistic.
Yep. Works for
okay,
me.
they did.
Okay.
So we got both these guys.
We can pick both of them now, which is good. That's what we want.
So let's do Curry first, and then we'll do. Actually, wait a minute. Which position gets paid more money?
It's probably too late now.
Here, we're just going to draft Alarmzor first so we can pay him less.
Jeez Louise.
Then Caden Curry.
Adam Fredrickson says Mason Riger. Welcome in. Says he wants Mason.
What up, Adam? Nice to have you join us here.
We have picked Riger tonight. Or he was in one of our pre-show.
He was at the very least, he was in my draft that I shared. We just missed out on Pat Coogan.
So this is offense, right? This is filling
well,
we got skill units.
Or probably there's a D to do that. We only got 2 left. Skylar Gill Howard is who you're looking at. Come on, you can't be mad about him in the 6th round. You can't.
I mean, I can because he's little.
I think we should take Cole Payton as one of these guys.
That's fine by me. I think it's Cole Payton, the tight end. Yeah. You can make sure you can secure Cole Payton first if you want to. There are other tight ends there if we lose out. Not worried one bit.
There we go. This might be our best mock draft of the night.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to say it probably is.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my favorite start. Our first pick being at
77 is rough. But
Yeah, I probably would have gone Crawford, to be honest. I think Crawford, Benny, Zune would have been sick to start with, and then you still get Demings. But, do we trust good enough in the third round for a draft like this? No.
3 third-round picks.
No. That's why I'm fine trading the second and the third. And then we'll figure it out from there. So I do not. But Adam Fredrickson says, I'm rarely robbed for live streams, but always listen on the pod. Will be funny to see my random comment completely out of context. There you go.
I do enjoy when
Adam Fredrickson, welcome to the show, being on the show and hearing your name called on the pod. That'll be fun.
I forgot to put because it was Drew who set the second dono, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Drew. So I had to double check.
Yep.
Forgot to put Drew's dono on here. So I'm gonna compensate by making his name really big. Yeah, Adam, thank you for tuning in live.
Yes.
Anybody who typically consumes this show audio only, it's a lot of fun when the chat gets bumping.
Yes.
It's a really good time, and I encourage more of you to try it. Yeah, Drew says you should come live more often. It's more fun.
Agreed.
It is what makes the show special, in my opinion.
And we have
speaking of the show,
the mock draft lab was cooking tonight. There was a lot going on.
This was a good one.
A lot of experiments in the lab this evening.
Maybe if we give some of the donos to Jake, he will cut up some of these mock drafts for us and post them as videos. Tool for this says we weren't really derailed tonight.
I might.
Here's the thing, Tool for this. First of all, that's kind of on you. You're supposed to derail us, and you guys didn't. Second, I think people are relating on an emotional level to this desire to kind of hammer out this process. I think that we were coming up with some answers about the draft strategy for this draft class, because it's such a unique draft class, and we're in such a weird spot with our picks. Drew says our 120 pick does not feel well positioned, which is why I'm happy that we came out of it with Charles Demings.
I actually think with this board, it's actually, I kind of like it. Zune, Casey, Demings, and McClellan very often there. I actually would love to pick around that area more. I think the 80 to 95 is like my least favorite area, which is why we're going reaching according to the board, I should say, because I don't know if Zune's really reaching.
We took Trey Zune here at 84.
Yeah, I'm not sure why,
which is crazy.
So yeah, we have to quote unquote reach on the board at those spots, which I'm happy doing. I think when you look at it, right, it's the positions that we've talked about a lot and we've picked a lot often dry up, other than linebacker and tight end, right? Linebacker and tight end have a lot of players worth considering on day 3 because the class is deeper, right? And the centers get pushed down, so if you want that backup there, it's not super hard to do. But when it comes to the defensive tackle class especially, it's why I think we've kind of gravitated towards, hey, if we can go get Miller, McDonald, maybe to a lesser extent Woods, I think you look at those options. So I do think, Mock Draft Lab won in the poll over Derailed, which works out nice because Mock Draft Monday,
It was a late rallying victory on the poll, and also I was cracking up because Twitter unveiled this new feature where you can put an image with the poll options, and they have not hammered out the kinks in that system yet. Okay, I posted it on desktop web and put the pictures in there. And then if you looked at the poll while it was running on mobile, the pictures were reversed. And so the picture of Derailed was on Mock Draft Lab, and the picture of Mock Draft Lab was on Derailed. And I was thinking that I had screwed up, and I was annoyed about it. And then I came back after the poll was done, and I was looking at it, and they had switched back to the way they were. So hopefully people read the options instead of just picking based on the image, because the images were not reliable.
Yeah. There's no way of knowing at this juncture, but
I have a question for you, Jake.
Yes.
When we're just doing Mock Draft Lab and it's not derailed, do we need to salute somebody at the end of the show, or is that just a derailed thing?
Good question. We should salute the good folks who put together the simulators, I think.
Who finally took out the pick we're not supposed to have.
That's right, yes. And who are finally taking out more players that aren't in the draft class. Because I think as of like early February, there were still a few guys linked.
Oh, yeah, he still had, Jermaine Mathis.
Yes, Matthews was in there. There was like an edge rusher who I think was still in there too. But yeah, maybe again next go around, next Monday, maybe we'll switch simulators a little bit, see how that goes. We can go through and see what the Be the GM simulator, how that looks, how PFN looks, so we can bounce around and see.
We also had listener mail from Joe. He was asking if we would be willing to put together a big board in PFF and share it so that the folks could use that. So I told him I actually don't do a big board. I have in the past, but it's been a few years. I just do my database now, so I don't actually have anything to input in there. Maybe next year I'll get to it, but at the current stage of life that I'm in with 2 toddlers, and I have to pick and choose what projects I'm working on, big board just has not felt as valuable to me as some of the other projects that I work on for football. But if you have one, are you going to put it in the PFF simulator for people to use?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. I can definitely create a board. And I'll at least create where I'm at right now. And yeah, something we'll definitely can play with. I don't know how that affects how the draft is going to go. I feel like I have to put Mendoza at least high enough. I don't know if me having Mendoza at 4, 5, or 6 would make him not be picked at 1. Not that I guess it totally matters with how we're drafting per se, because
I really liked how
it doesn't really matter. They're all going to get off the board anyway, right? But
the Draft Network used to do it where your board was not what the other teams followed. It was just like you had your board, and as players were picked, they were taken off of that board. And so by the time it was your pick, your top guy was at the top of the board for you, which is the realistic way to do it. That's how the NFL teams actually do it. So, listen, we are almost to 2 hours on the 1 hour show mark. So, Jake, you go ahead and share your link on Twitter when you're done, and the good folks can use it. And I do want to say, in the words of the late, great Packers legend, do you know who that is, Jake?
Is this Jordan Riley?
It's Jordan Riley.
Nice. Well done. Well done.
Thank you for participating in Mock Draft Lab. Go, Pack, go.